Hi everyone, my name is Kenta from American Hakko Products, and welcome to Eye On Hakko. Eye On Hakko, here we talk about certain Hakko products, and we talk about the features and benefits of that particular product, and we also give a quick demonstration of how to use that product. That's what these Eye On Hakko episodes are all about. Now, for 2021, we covered several different products from the FX888D to thermal wire strippers to fume extractors. And this episode being that it's the December episode, believe it or not, 2021 is a couple weeks left, it's almost coming to an end. We thought it'd be a good idea to do a quick recap of all of the different products that we covered for 2021. Now, before we get started onto the Eye On Hakko 2021 Rewind, I just want to take a quick moment to thank everyone for participating, for viewing throughout the year. All these episodes, Eye On Hakko stuff, wouldn't be possible without everyone's participation. So again, thank you very much to all the viewers out there. Now, without further ado, let's take it away. So the first episode of the year, this was back in February 2021. We went over the FX888D. We went over the features and benefits of the FX888D. We covered all the different accessories or the hand pieces that can be used on the FX888D. We also went a little bit into detail on how to change your set temperature, how to use the offset feature and the difference between the two. And we also covered how to use a tip thermometer. So check it out. These are the accessories that you can attach to the FX888D. Starting off with the standard 801, that's the standard iron that comes with the station. And the station comes with the standard iron and also a 1.6 millimeter chisel tip. Okay. The next accessory, sold separately of course, is the 8802. Looks similar in size to the 8801 standard, but this 8802 is actually a nitrogen compatible handpiece. Then next over we have the 8803. This is a manual solder feeding gun. So what you can do is you can actually feed your solder through this area, pull on the trigger here, and then it'll feed the solder out the other end. Like I said, it's a manual solder feeding gun. And then we have here the 8804. This is a hot tweezer used for some surface mount rework. And the tweezers actually come with a 2 millimeter set of tweezer tips as well. And the last accessory over here is the FX8805. This is the larger handpiece that you can attach to the FX888D. And for the larger FX8805 handpiece, you'll be able to use the larger T19 series of tips as well. If you do or you want to change your set temperature, really easy way you can do that. There's an enter button and an up button. So you press and hold the enter button, your display will begin to flash. And at this point, you scroll through by pressing the up button. Say I want to go to 660, for example. I scroll through till I hit the 6, press enter to move over, go to my desired selection, hit enter, and then 0, I'm okay there, so I hit enter again. And you'll see on my display that my set temperature is going down from 750 down to 660. I just changed my set temperature. Really easy, right? Right? And we're gonna reset the station, factory reset it. And the way you do that is press and hold the up and enter buttons at the same time and then turn the power on. You'll get a flashing A. Okay, this is A means Asia. You want to press the up button one time to get a U. U means US. So you want to select the US flashing U display, hit enter, boom, 750. You just did a factory reset on your 888D station. Very quick fix for those of you who've mistakenly entered the adjustment mode thinking that's how you change your set temperature, okay? Now this episode, this was back in April 2021, we went over the fume extractors. We went over the smoke absorber and the fume extractor, the FA400 and the FA430. And on this episode, we actually did this episode with me, myself, and Joel. Joel came out in the episode and helped us out. It was a nice episode where we were able to cover the difference between a smoke absorber and a fume extractor. We showed how the FA400, you can use it standing up vertical. We showed how you can use it laying on its side on the horizontal position. We went over the fume extractor, the FA430 fume extractor also, the different levels of speed levels, low, medium, and high, how to change the filters. We covered the different types of filters, the regular filter and the HEPA filter. And in the episode, you gotta watch, because during the episode, Joel just interrupts me out of nowhere. So rude, right? Check it out. So, FA400, it's our smoke absorber. It's a compact, lightweight, benchtop unit. One speed. As far as airflow, it's about 40 CFMs when used in the vertical position. You can also use the FA400 on it horizontally.
One quick thing just to touch up. Since we're talking about the different positions you can use the FA400 in, we also do have a arm stand holder. This is a mounting bracket that in case you don't have enough worktop bench space, it'll actually hold it above the workstation, and it'll absorb the fumes that rise up.
So I think there is a replacement filter that's on the front of the unit. Really easy to take off. This is the replacement filter.
All right, well, we've been talking about the FA400 this entire time, so let's go ahead and show you exactly how to use this. All right. But while Kent is setting up.
All right, can I get started?
Yeah, go ahead, let's go.
Jesus Christ. So, on-off switch in the back of the unit. I turn the unit on. And you want to keep about 6 to 8 inches from your work area to the front of the fan. And let's start off with just, I'm just tinning the tip right now. And you can tell that the solder fumes, I'm not breathing it in, and the smoke absorber is doing its job. Horizontally, like so. It does take away all the smoke away from me, so not breathing it in, and it does its job. If you're looking for the more industrial type fume extractor, contract manufacturers, any type of manufacturing, the FA430 is the unit for you.
Now, as Kenta mentioned, this is a fume extractor, while the FA400 is a smoke absorber. The smoke absorber merely takes the fumes out of your face and pushes them away, while the fume extractor actually sucks them up and pumps out clean air for you. You take a look right away, major difference between this and the FA400. The great thing about this unit too is that 2 operators can use a single FA430. It has 2 ports for it for 2 different ducts. So with a single duct, you're looking at 147 CFMs.
145.
145. With 2 ducts, you're looking at 167. But going back into the ports themselves, you can have 2 operators with 1 single unit.
And on top of the main filter, there is the pre-filter. Inside of the main filter, there's the top pleated portion, and on the bottom, there's a carbon activated portion all within the main filter. So 1, 2, and 3 make it a 3-stage filtration process by using 2 filters. We also have an optional pre-filter and also an optional main filter. Optional pre-filter, it's called the A1572, and this is the A1573. When these 2 are used together on the FA430, the efficiency rating goes from 98% to 99.97% efficient, thus making it a HEPA rated filtration system.
Just to show you, it's already working as I'm tinning the tip. You can already see it getting sucked up right away. But I'm going to do it even lower and show you when doing with the soldering application.
There you go. The round nozzle is meant to be placed above the work area, and the rectangle is meant to be placed directly on. This next episode was back in April 2021. We went over the FX1003 micro tweezers. Now this is a reworked tweezer used on the FX100 induction heating station platform. This particular tweezer was released back in May. So before the May release, we thought it would be a good time to talk about it, go over the features and benefits. The main features and benefits of these reworked tweezers is that it has 4 different levels of adjustment capabilities: the height, the width, the rotation, and the length. I went over also the holder, the iron holder as well. Went over the tip shapes and the tip series, the temperature series. And at the very end, I was able to give a quick demonstration of removing certain components. I believe I removed a 0402 and an 0201 during that episode. And let me just say, looking back on this episode, I'm kind of proud of myself that I didn't shake that much and I was able to remove these components, because doing this live is really hard and I was really proud of myself. So make sure you go back and watch it. Go ahead, check it out. So the FX1003, it can be plugged in right into the FX100 soldering station. For those of you who don't know what the FX100 is, it's Hakko's induction heating soldering station. Currently we have two handpieces that you can plug into the FX100, one being the FX1001 standard handpiece. It uses the T31 series of tips. And the other accessory is the FX1002 micro iron that uses the T35 series of tips. The FX1002 being a micro iron, it's great for working under the microscope because it uses much more smaller, finer tips, and the handpiece is a lot smaller and shorter, allowing you to work comfortably under the microscope. Now the FX1003, being that it's being powered from the FX100, naturally it's going to be powered up using the induction heat technology. So what does that mean? It means that the temperature is going to be predetermined by the tips themselves. Okay, so for the FX1003, there's going to be a new series of tips called the T38 series of tips. Again, two different temperature ranges. One is going to be in the T38-03, which is the 350 degrees Celsius or 660 Fahrenheit. And the other temperature range will be the T38-02, which is the 400 Celsius or 750 degrees Fahrenheit temperature range. Now to go a little bit into detail on the tips, the I, that's going to be our conical tip shape, and the IS is going to be the finer pointed conical shape. So the difference between the two, the I has a point radius of 0.15 millimeters, and the IS, which is the finer pointed version of the conical, has a point radius of 0.05 millimeters. There's also the J and the JS, same difference. The J has the point of 0.15 millimeters. The JS is the finer pointed J that has a 0.05 millimeter radius endpoint. There's also the L shape. The L shape, think of it as kind of like a flathead chisel shape. There's the 1 millimeter version, which we call the L1, and the 2 millimeter version, which we call the L2. And last but not least, we have the knife blade shape, which we call the K-type. So again, in total, 7 different tip shapes: the I, the IS, the J, the JS, the L1, the L2, and the K. So the FX1003, the new handpiece, is very compact, lightweight in design. As you can see here, it fits comfortably in my hands. There are 2 yellow dials on the handpiece here. Those are actually adjustment dials that you can make on the handpiece itself. There's actually 4 different adjustments that you can make on the handpiece, these being 2 out of the 4. So let's start off talking about the dial, the yellow dial on the right. That is to adjust the height in between the 2 tips. The height you can adjust on the right side, up or down, plus or minus 1 millimeter in that direction, only on the right side. Why that is there? Because you can adjust it so that you're making just the right amount of contact between the tweezer tip ends and the component itself. And the dial on the left, that's for the width in between the 2 tweezer tip ends. So you can see I can close them in like so, and as I'm rotating, I can also open them up a little bit more. So it depends on what type of component that you're actually trying to rework. You can close them in, makes it easier for you to come down, grab, and pull away. There's also 2 additional adjustments where you insert the tips. Let's see if you get a better view. There you go. This is where you insert the tips, and there's one dial here, kind of has like this hook shape on it. That is for rotation. You can rotate the tips in up to 200 degrees of rotation so that you're trying to make the best possible contact between the tip and the component itself. So when you're using tip shapes such as the J, JS, either one of the L's or the K-type tip, it allows you up to 200 degrees of rotation to set the tip ends to your preference so that it matches up well between the tips and the components themselves. And the last adjustment capability that's built into the handpiece is this dial right underneath the rotation dial. This dial, as you turn it, you'll be able to adjust the length of the tip. So you can extend it up to 1.5 millimeters forward. So if you're looking to just get a little bit more reach from your tips, you'll be able to do that. And for the rotation and the length, you'll find it on both sides, the left and the right, so you can adjust it on both sides as well. Because sometimes, the height, adjusting the rotation may not be good enough. Sometimes you want that extra length, the tweezer tip. This FX1003 has that capability to do so. So there's 4 different ones: height, width, rotation, and length. You don't need to use all 4 if it's not necessary, but we give everyone a good idea of how it works. So let me see. Forgive me if I shake. I'm gonna try not to, but here we go. I have a few components here that I can just grab and remove. Then I'll go ahead and place it on the penny here just to give you a sense of how small these components are. There you go. Remove, and let me get this set down here. So I'm gonna try to remove these. There you go. And let me get this down here. Go. So again, the T38 series of tips, very small, fine, they're precision made. Combined with the new handpiece makes it very easy for me to work on those super tiny components, as you see there, working comfortably under the microscope. And before I switch over to this other board, I just want to show everyone our new iron holder and some new cool features that we have built in to show them how to exchange the tips. So this is a new holder for the FX1003, right? New receptacle. So you'll see right away we have some new features like built-in tip holders. We finally have a tip holder tray on the iron holder, right? And you also find a couple slots on both sides of the receptacle. And what those are used for is that you'll insert the tip like so, press down, and you'll be able to remove the tips. Same thing on the other side. Insert the tip into the slot, press down, and you'll be able to remove the tips without using a heat pad. So no more using a heat pad and no more grabbing the tips with say a vice grip or pliers, please, because these are very precision tools and you don't want to be grabbing these tips with pliers. They might end up damaging them. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a new set of tips, make a few small adjustments on the tip alignment to make sure that I can grab them. So let's go ahead and get this other board that I have here. Okay, let's do this. So let's grab some of these as an example. These are some of the larger ones. Am I on camera? There you go. Very easy working under the microscope if you need to remove some of these super tiny components. Okay, so again, new handpiece, new tips, new iron holder. for the FX1003. There's also an optional accessory I forgot to mention. There's also we're gonna be coming out with an optional brush. It's gonna be a new cleaner brush that we'll have available for the FX1003. The standard kit comes with a cleaning sponge and a cleaning brass wire, but like I said, we'll have this new brush, which is also made out of brass, also available as an optional accessory. It's called the A5065. It kind of looks like one of those polishing brushes that you use to polish your shoes. Kind of looks like that. But it's great for some tip ends, finer tip ends like the J shape, so that it cleans the J tip very well. If you use the wire, sometimes the hook end of the J tip may get caught in the wire, so that's why it came out with this brush to allow you to comfortably clean off those hooked J type tips. The new brush, the A5065, it's an optional accessory, but you can not only use it on the FX1003 holder, but you can also use it on the micro FX1002 holder and also on the standard FX1001 holder as well, because they do all use the same base. So you can use it on those iron holders as well. And like I said, now we have 3 optional accessories: the standard iron, the micro iron, and the FX1003 micro tweezers, all available for the FX100. So for those FX100 users, we finally have a rework tweezer available for you to start reworking and removing those components. Very super tiny components, as you saw here. On the next episode, this was back in June of 2021, we covered desoldering, and we picked up the product of the FR410 as a product to demonstrate. Again, we went over the features and benefits of the FR410. I went over different types of nozzles, how to change your nozzles. And one of the main points or features on this episode was going over the quick change mechanism of the FR410, how easy it is to replace or exchange your nozzle using the quick change mechanism on the FR410, making the maintenance procedure really, really quick and easy. I also went over the clogging indicator on the station, the toolkit, using the toolkit, how to perform the proper maintenance on your nozzle. And I also went over the accessory, the C5046, the quick changer that you can use to quickly change up to 3 different types of nozzles. Again, really informative nozzles on desoldering, so go ahead, check it out. So desoldering is the process of removing the solder away from your solder joints, because we all know if you solder, more times than not, or more likely, you're going to need to desolder. Here at American Hakko, we have different desoldering tools available, like the FR301, the FR410, which I'm going to get into in a minute here, and we also have the FR400. The FR301, it's our portable desoldering station. You can take it out with you in the field. Very convenient to use. It comes with a nice case, so you can carry it around with you. The FR410 is the one I have here. It's our more industrial desoldering station. And we also have our ultra heavy duty FR400 desoldering station. Those are more for your larger, more robust type of applications. FR410 is our desoldering station. What's great about it is that the vacuum or the pump is already built into the station itself. So there's no need to connect any sort of external air supply to your desoldering station. Let's give a quick demonstration of how to change your set temperature while we're here. You can press any one of these buttons, you press and hold, and then you'll gain access to a set of menus. It says set temp, you just press enter, and then you'll be able to use the up and down and enter buttons to scroll through and make changes to your temperature settings. So right now I'm changing it from 750F to 660F. And there you have it. Now the station is adjusting itself, going from 750 down to 660F. Another useful feature, I'm not going to get into all the bells and whistles, but I do want to show them the clogging indicator feature that's on the FR410. It's a nice feature. As you'll see, if I press on the trigger here, you'll see that the bar shoots across the screen and comes back. That shows you how much clogging is going on within the system. Say, for example, I simulate a clog and press the trigger. You'll see that the bar shoots all the way across the screen, and there's a CHK, that means check, please check your unit because there's clogging going on and you need to perform maintenance on your nozzle and your station. Moving right along, let's get into the different hand pieces that you can use. On the FR410, you can use the gun type, like the one I have here. Or we also have the pencil type handpiece that I have here. Two different types of handpieces that you can use. They both deliver the 140 watts of power. So what we did is we came out with a quick change mechanism. And what that allows you to do is you grab your nozzle wrench and remove it just like that. Makes it really easy when you're replacing the nozzle, when you're doing the maintenance, to change out your nozzle rather easily. Let me just do a quick demo. So this is the demo board, but I do have it, what it looks like. It looks something like this. This is a sample demo board. I have some small, medium, and large components. This is what it looks like on the back side. So I have the small here, the medium-sized components here, and the larger coils on the board here. Wiggle it around and then desolder. Again, melt, wiggle it around, desolder, melt, wiggle it around, desolder, and then the last one, melt, wiggle it around, and desolder, and there you have it, component removed. We also have this very nice accessory. We call it the quick change stand. It's called the C5046. You can preload different size nozzles in each of these slots here. And check this out. All you have to do is insert it into one, twist, remove, go into the other one, and there you have it. The 2.3 millimeter nozzle already installed. You know, the nature of the desoldering tools, you're sucking up solder, it's passing through the system, so you do need to perform the maintenance when you're using these solder tools. But the procedure is pretty simple. So you want to get your cleaning drill first of all and clear out the nozzle opening like so. And you want to do this while the station is on and while the nozzle is hot, obviously. Then you want to take your cleaning pins and clear out the rest of your nozzle. Once you have that cleared out, grab your nozzle wrench, remove your nozzle, and you can press and hold the tabs, and that will hold the enclosure pipe in place. Set that aside for a minute. Then you want to grab your heater cleaning pin. That's what this is for. And you want to clean the inside of your heater core. There's going to be solder, debris, some flux that's passing through the system. So you want to make sure you clear all of that out of the way. Once you get that done, you grab your nozzle and put it back in place. Removing these larger coils. This is the large sample I have, and those will be these two solder joints here. There's one, just residual solder, and there's the other. And there you go, component removed. This is the demo board I will be using for the FR400. These large coils that you see here with the larger thermal reliefs in comparison to the FR410. All right, so these are, demonstrating for ultra heavy duty types of applications. Next episode is August 2021. We covered the thermal wire stripper. This was probably my favorite episode of the Eye On Hakko ones we did in 2021, because I was able to demonstrate again the features and benefits of the FT802 thermal wire stripper. I went over the difference between a mechanical wire stripper and a thermal wire stripper, and the reason why it's beneficial to use a thermal wire stripper, right? Because you're not damaging the interconductor wires. That's one of the main reasons. And at the very end, I gave another quick demo. And during the demo, I think I was able to properly demonstrate the proper technique when doing thermal wire stripping, right? You don't want to grip and rip You want to score, gently score, and pull away on the insulation. You can see all that, the proper technique of thermal wire stripping on this episode back in August 2021 on thermal wire stripping, the FT802. Check it out. Now the thermal wire stripper, it's a unique product used in industries such as military, defense, space, aerospace, and medical industries, where our customers cannot afford to damage the inner conductors or inner wires, the strands that are underneath the insulation when they're stripping off the wire. Compared to a conventional wire stripper. This is a conventional wire stripper that I have here. This is one of our CHP brand CSP-30-2 conventional type wire stripper. These conventional type wire strippers, what they do, they're blades, they're shears that cut into the insulation. And as you're cutting into the insulation, you remove the insulation off of the cables. When you're using these conventional type of thermal wire strippers, there is the chance that you might end up nicking the inner strands or the inner conductor wires of your cables. Now, the companies or customers that work in the previously mentioned industries, they cannot afford to do so. So on their specific applications, it is called out that they cannot use mechanical wire strippers. So what do they use instead? They use thermal wire strippers. Thermal wire strippers, instead of cutting the insulation, it actually melts the insulation. And with the new blades, the heaters are actually closer. We've changed the location of the heaters, so they're now located a lot closer to the cutting surface. So what does that mean? That means better heat transfer, which resulted in a cleaner cut of the actual insulation. 3 types of blades available in the new G4 series of blades. We have the straight blade, which is called the G4-1601. Then we have the G4-1602, which will allow you to strip off material when you're using 18 to 28 gauge wire. And then the G4-1603 for when you want to strip off insulation on 26 to 38 gauge wire. Really quick, before we get into the demonstration, there's a couple things that you will need to know that are necessary to know when you want to strip off insulation. One is you need to know the gauge wire. And 2, you need to know the material of the insulation that you're working with. For example, if you have a cable or wire that is 18 gauge wire, you have to select the proper blade that has the proper notch, the 18 gauge notch, so you can use it to remove the 18 gauge wire insulation. So in our case, the G4-1602 will work because it allows you to work anywhere from 18 to 28 gauge wire. So that's what I have set on my handpiece here today. The next step is to know the insulation, the material of the insulation, because not all materials are made equally. For example, PVC or nylon, those are much more easier to melt away and strip away compared to other materials such as Teflon, for example. I'm going to demonstrate 2 methods. One is the not recommended, the improper way to do it, which I still see many people do out there in the field, okay? And that is, I see a lot of people, once you've selected the proper notch, they will score and they'll just rip the insulation off of the cable. Now that's not recommended. Now I'm going to show you the proper technique when using thermal wire strippers. And here we go. Again, select the proper notch. What you want to do is gently score the insulation, and then you want to gently just slightly peel back till you get that. You see that separation that I have here? That's what you want. You get that separation. That's all you need. And from there, use your fingers. You can use your fingers to twist and gently remove the insulation off of your cable and wire. Now we do also carry a accessory called the FT8003. It's a hot knife blade that you can also plug into the FT802 and use it to cut and strip away larger cables. There's two different types of blades available for the FT8003. So those of you who are working with larger cables, that need to cut away larger cables, make sure you check that out as well. Again, I'm gonna reiterate this one more time. Do not grip and rip, because that can damage your wires. The proper technique, again, is to use the heat to melt the insulation, get that little bit of separation, and then from there, once you separated the insulation, use your fingers to gently twist and pull back on the insulation till the insulation is completely removed from the cable. That's the proper technique. Make sure you guys remember that. Now, these last couple of episodes, we thought we'd switch it up a little bit, and we covered the FX600, but also using the FX600, we also built and gave away a DIY pumpkin kit. Being that this episode was in October, being that it's Halloween month, we thought it'd be a really fun activity to do here and for everyone to do at home as well. So we used the FX600, we built the DIY pumpkin kit. I showed how to solder on the resistors, the transistors, the capacitors, and sort of kind of like some tips and tricks that everyone can use when building these DIY kits. It was a really fun activity. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well, and make sure you rewatch it here. Go ahead and check it out. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for another episode of Eye On Hakko. My name is Kenta, and for today's episode we will be building a fun little DIY light up pumpkin kit that I have here with everyone. Very important, first tool you'll need is a soldering iron. Okay, I have here the FX600 soldering iron. With the soldering iron, it comes with a B-tip already included, so that's there. So first thing you need, soldering iron. Next thing you'll need is the iron holder. I have the FH300 iron holder here with a 599B tip cleaner. So get your soldering iron, iron holder, and tip cleaner. Once you have that, I also have pliers. Pliers are used to bend the leads of the components, so you're going to need pliers. I have the CHP PN-2002 pliers here. I also have cutters. Cutters, I'm going to need to cut off the lead ends, so I have the CHP 170 cutters here. I also have a flathead screwdriver that I'll be using at the very end. This is a CHP PG1-4 flathead type screwdriver. I also have a C1390C Omnivice, very useful when I'm to hold the circuit board in place. I also have the solder reel stand, or the solder reel holder. This one's called the 611-01. And last but not least, I have the FA400 smoke absorber. And of course, the kit itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total steps. Now we have all 7 steps completed. And on the other side, yeah, looking pretty, looking pretty. So let's give it a test. I'm gonna attach the battery, like so. Ready, ready, ready? The moment of truth. Ta-da! It works. Nice little pumpkin, light up pumpkin. Again, it's a nice little DIY kit you can do at home using these basic tools that I was able to use today. Again, without the proper tools, first of all, you won't be able to solder. And without like cutters and pliers, without Omnivice, the fume extractor, it's just all these tools make it so that your DIY project becomes that much more enjoyable. Now this last episode, we did this last month. This was in November 2021. We thought about doing another fun activity, building a DIY Christmas tree kit in preparation for the holiday season coming up this month. So we did another one. We did the FX600 again. Using the FX600, we built this DIY Christmas tree kit. Again, I showed the different process of soldering on resistors, transistors, LEDs to build this DIY Christmas tree kit for Christmas. We also gave a couple hundred DIY Christmas tree kits away for those of you who watched that particular episode. It was a nice Christmas Santa Claus gift from American Hakko. I hope everyone was able to enjoy building these Christmas tree kits. I hope you have them built lying around the house right now. So if you want to review it, refresh it, go ahead and check it out. Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Eye On Hakko. My name is Kenta, and for today's webinar, we'll be building a fun activity, building this LED DIY Christmas kit that you can build at home with some basic soldering tools. First tool is you'll need soldering iron. Makes sense, right? You're going to solder, you need a soldering iron. So the soldering iron I have here today is the FX600 soldering iron. That's the soldering iron I have here. It's a stick iron, as you can see, but it has a dial, so you can adjust the temperature. You can adjust it anywhere from 200 degrees Celsius all the way up to 500 degrees Celsius. Now, many of you may already have a soldering station at home that you use, but hey, guess what? It's always good to have a backup. Plus, what's great about the FX600 is that it's a stick iron, it's portable, so you can take it along with you. If you need to work on your car, you could take it outside on the field. If you attend any kind of classes, you can throw this in your bag and take it along with you. And the great thing about it is that it's temperature adjustable, so it's kind of like having a soldering station in the palm of your hands because you can take it along with you. So that's great. That's what's great about the FX600. For my soldering iron, I'm gonna need a iron holder. And that's what I have here. This is called the Hakko 633. It's actually called the 633-01 iron holder, and it comes with this 599B tip cleaner. So there's my iron holder, and there's my soldering iron. FA400, Hakko FA400 smoke absorber. This will help me breathe in clean air so that I'm not inhaling the solder fumes. I also have the C1390C Omnivice. This will help me hold the circuit board in place. And I also have the CHP PN 2005 pliers to help me bend the component leads. And last but not least, I have the CHP 170 cutters to cut the component leads. And for today's project, I'm also going to be using some Kapton tape that I've had lying around to help hold the components down in place. R1 and brown, black, and red, R2. And now the very last step is to attach the 9-volt battery. So grab a 9-volt battery and make sure, just positive end matches to the positive end terminal of your 9-volt battery. It attaches onto here's the Christmas tree. The battery will slide into this portion and attach like so. There you go, will you? Look at that, nice Christmas tree. Red, green, and yellow LEDs, nice. It's getting me in the Christmas spirit. Again, it's a nice DIY kit that you can do at home. You could do them by yourself, you could do them with your kids. It's a really nice, fun activity for you to do at home. So those are all of the different highlights of the Eye On Hakko episodes we covered in 2021. And before we close it out for the year, let me just bring out all of the behind the scenes help that make this Eye On Hakko episodes going. So let me bring it up to, here they are.
Hi everyone, I'm Joel.
I'm Claudia.
Hi, I'm Frank.
Hi, I'm Tosh. And I'm Rick.
So this is the team that make the Eye On Hakko episodes possible. They help me keep it going. Thank you all. And most importantly, thank everyone out there watching and viewing and participating in each of these episodes. Wouldn't be possible without you guys. Thank you very much. 2021 was a great year. Have a safe and happy holidays. Watch out for 2022. And remember, keep your eye on Hakko.